Hi everyone, welcome back to part 5 of our Black Knight Halberd all bosses run. So let's get stuck straight in. So we're going to kick off with the Duke skip. I tried this a few times before kicking off this video. I was getting about 1 in 2, which isn't too bad. So a quick chat through what we're going to do is we'll pull the lever. As the lift starts to go down, we run into this corner. Then we run off onto this banister to land. Then we're going to rotate our camera to point towards the arch we want to roll through. And then when we're above the arch, we will roll through it. A couple of tips that might make this a bit easier. Some runners angle their camera to look down. This makes it slightly easier to get the positioning for the move off here. Because you can kind of see it a little bit more clearly than if your camera's here. You can see your trajectory. It also makes it a little bit easier to manage your camera when you get into this spot against the wall here, because your camera kind of flies up to this position anyway. I personally like to do 3 steps in this corner, like that. You can tell by the audio cues, and then I roll off. So let's just give it a go. There's loads of tutorials on the Duke skip. Like, you don't need me to go through it. So you need to walk out, and then roll it up, line it up, and off we go. So that wasn't too bad. I try and hug the wall here to get him to turn. Man, what a disaster. So yeah, probably should have just committed to hitting them there, to be honest. Sometimes he turns and you can get through. I should, like... Yeah, I think it's safer just to kill him. Unless there's a technique I don't know about. Which, yeah, if you know a way to consistently get him to turn the way you want, please let me know. So, let's talk about what we're going to do. Because it's been like I think it might have been a couple of weeks. So I've had some friends visiting for last week, which has meant I haven't been able to do any recording. And I am going to try and get all of the rest of this run done tonight in either, hopefully it will just be 2 videos. I might need to take a break to refill my tea halfway through. Yeah, I'm flying back to the UK for work tomorrow, and then it's Christmas, so I'm not going to be back for 2 weeks. So because my PC is quite large, then I cannot take it with me, which means this will be the last Dark Souls I play for 2 weeks, unless Bandai Namco announce that they're releasing this on Switch in time for Christmas tomorrow, in which case I will be playing Dark Souls on my Switch for Christmas, but I think we all know that's not going to happen. So it's not, I've talked a little bit about the Crystal Cave before. There's not too much to cover. The main thing we want to do is heal with humanity so that we can stack humanity for the sea fight. Our weapon is currently at +3. Oh, we meant to level it. So one of the reasons we stopped that bonfire was to reinforce our halberd, and I forgot. So if you are doing this, remember to do that. Don't be like me. We're going to try, so with this, one of the reasons we're doing C first is that there's some crystal geckos underneath this guy that we're going to try and get. Now, if you're super good, you can get them all with one swing. I am generally not super good. Did I get them all? I think we might have got them all. There was a couple of swings, but that's still pretty good. So I think we just got 4, and we only need 3 for our final level. So I think that is everything we need. So, let's do this. Hopefully I'm still... Oh no, this is going to be brutal. Okay, cool. Yep, still not brave enough to do the no clam strat, so instead we will jump through. And then we will go out. This removes the clam from the boss room. We'll spawn in front of the fog. We go straight in, otherwise they will teach us a much needed lesson. Then you want to run past Seath here. Be a bit careful, because when you get behind him, he starts whipping his tail around. Maybe drop some more weapons out. So hopefully he'll turn around now. Okay, this is a bit slow. So we get a little moment of stun after we kill him. So we want to use that to try and get some free hits in. That is not ideal. So let's just pile on some humanity here. And let's get out of here, this is silly. Okay, so yeah, I still really need to work on my sieve timing, apparently. I think I just get convinced that the Halberd will just eat through everything, and I forget that we are a semi-mortal man. Okay, that was good. So let's teleport to Fireman Shrine. So the next of the next of the big bosses we've got to do. 72,000. We've got the Silver Surfer ring. So good. So we're gonna go do the Chaos bosses next. We want Weapon Verstärken. And we should have enough. Great. So, and then we can level up. I think actually we probably want a bit of that, don't we? So that we can equip the bow and not worry about stuff. And maybe we could even put on some armor. The soft humanity on our bar will also help us for the Centipede Demon fight, because we'll take our resistance will be slightly higher, because that also comes off soft humanity. The more you have, the better your resistance is. Longbow. So we've still got to do 4 kings as well. I think we bought black fire bombs so that we can do the bomber strat. Let's check. Yeah, we did. Cool. So so that'll be a bit easier and a bit interesting. I don't know if there's really an advantage to doing 4 kings or the chaos bosses next. I think generally like they're all pretty much much of a muchness. If I'm not gonna kill Ingwood using like remote strategies, so if I'm not gonna kill him from outside, then I'm not gonna do the Blight Time drop today. I definitely like to do 4 kings as soon as possible. Wait, so no, let me get that right. If I'm not going to kill Ingwood from outside, I have to do Ghost House. So I try and leave that till near the end so that I've got enough HP to try and tank all of the ridiculous hits in Ghost House. But there's not a huge amount of advantages to doing. Ooh, that was close. And obviously the astute among you would have realised I probably should have been popping doubles instead of singles, because then we would have had more soft humanity. So I'll try and do that in future. Yeah, so if, for example, you're doing... Here he goes. If you're doing like a standard upgrade weapon, then doing 4 kings first earlier in the run will get you 2 chunks, which is great. You could also get them on the way to Ingwood, and then if you wanted to, for example, you could just bone out and then come back later to save having to do the actual 4 kings fight. But then you're losing the time required to run down. With Twinkling, if you've been cheap like we have and not spent money at the Giant Blacksmith to fully upgrade your weapon, then doing Seath earlier in the run gets you extra Twinkling for the run. I also find that doing the Chaos bosses, I find it equally hard no matter what my build or my level, because with Demon, I guess you just can't really afford to get hit a lot of the time. Like the healing windows are really small. I'm sure it must be easier if you're higher level, but I don't really find that. So I'm quite happy to do the Chaos bosses really early on, especially with Bed of Chaos. It doesn't matter what your level is; the strategy is exactly the same. So if you don't have a preference, you can always do that first, because it then gives you loads and loads of souls from all 3 bosses that you can use to level up. Pinwheel, obviously Pinwheel's pretty straightforward and pretty easy, and I don't generally tend to find Nito too hard, so that's also a good one to do early. I tried to switch in, and it didn't do me much good, unfortunately. I need to read up on how doing the weapon switch changes your landings. Like, I've seen people do it, but I haven't read up about it on Speed Souls. And for anyone that doesn't know, like, if you have any questions about runs, go to Speed Souls. So finding the routes and finding some of the information can be a little bit tricky because of the way the site's laid out. Like, the current rankings are very prominent, as they should be on a competitive speedrun site. But they do have listings for all of the routes, so you can see all the routes in there. You can see a list of all of the exploits for each game. Oh yay, we get invaded. Finstergeist's Litter Kirk. So you can see a full list of all the exploits for each game, a description for each of the run categories, which now, like, they've worked out how to do, what's the word, like warp skips without quitting the game. That's changed up the categories again. So Speed Souls is great. Have a look around there, see what the runs are, see who's doing what, and like, I think for me, one of my favourite things is to look at the leaderboard rankings for a given run, because then you look at any percent, and it's like, even if Kamal isn't #1, the next 4 runs, like, he's the fastest run for all of them. It's ridiculous. Like, that may not be the case now, but every time I look, it feels like it's that way. He's such a beast. So this guy, we just, you always want to try and be behind him. All his force attacks explode behind him, in front of him, so if you're behind him, you should be fine. You can't be too close. One thing to probably consider in this fight is you want to try and be hitting with the end of the halberd for maximum damage. So you've got to think about your positioning a little bit. If you like, it's the sweet spot on the halberd. Definitely rest in here. I have so many problems with Centipede Demon. It is unreal. We got some souls we could do with popping as well. Okay, so let's test our rolls. Cool. Is that a fast roll? No. Okay. This is the look of a champion. Okay, so shield up. Single roll through the first one, you should be able to do it without taking any damage. Then you need to double roll through this one. And then I launch into a few more rolls to dodge, and then I heal. So we want to try and draw him to us. So you generally don't want to be under his feet because he will just do stomp attacks. So you want to be a little bit in front of him. He'll then attack, and at that point you close the distance and get your strikes in. Then before he can initiate, once he's finished his animation and he comes to the end of an attack phase, he'll then attack again based on where you are, as all the bosses do. And at that point you don't want to be straight under him, so you need to come out a little bit early, move in front. So I'm going to try, I think I've got a new route to cut through. I think I tried this in the last video. I think this was in that one. And I'm not great at it yet, but I need to learn it, so you're going to have to put up with it, I'm afraid. So head towards this dude, he'll turn around and we can run straight past him. Then we want to head towards the land over here. And come off to try and reduce my damage a bit, and then we've got to run past these guys. So I'm pretty sure we run straight at this guy and he'll turn. And then we go around here. And then we want to go slightly to the right. Yeah, cool. Now the big problem with this is that they will chase you. And if you go the long way around, you don't really get chased. Or they can chase you, I should say, because they just now haven't. So we're definitely going to want to heal up at some point before we hit Bed of Chaos, because if we get clipped unluckily, like if we're low on stamina and we get clipped by the fire guy before the fog gate, that's going to be really problematic. He does a decent amount of damage and we're not wearing any armor, so... You know what? I haven't even looked at... I think we're still rocking 2418, aren't we? On strength and dex. Yeah, we are. So, I think... I did that a bit quick. We'll do it when we're on the slope. So, cool, that's the good one. Great. Oh, poor Kirk. So, we want to get our fire bombs going. Then we want to get a bow. We've got them loaded. Select our fire bombs, and then we check. Oh no, we got up to 34 strength. Okay. So with this, I tend to angle the camera down just a little bit so that I can see the run a bit more clearly. You push forward. I walk to the grace going to 2 back steps. Then we need to angle up the shot. Because I'm not confident. Firestorm can still catch you. Okay, that was good. Cool, so 4 kings next. Do we... Yo. Oh, no. Messed that up. So generally, so what's this going to get us? Like, an extra point is not much. Yeah, and that's even worse, so... let's just go for vitality for now. Teleport 2 then. Yeah, so generally, like in this situation, you're going to be able to warp before you get your souls into your inventory and level. So I would tend to warp, and then I often then rest at Firelink and then level. Actually, while we're here, because we're in human form, we can just kindle. And this is nice for 4 kings. I can't remember why we went into human form. What was that for? Oh, it was ONS, wasn't it? Because I was scared. I remember now. I'm getting flashbacks. Cool, so, we need for this is we're just going to use the stone armor. Yeah, 4 kings is pretty standard. Right, so one thing we do need to do is equip the bow. And we should change our rings out. I should have probably done that at the end of the last fight. So, I need bow, I need black fire bombs. I'm slow rolling, so let's lose that, because I'm not going to be fighting anyone anyway. Right, I have not practiced the firebomb strat since I recorded this on my last video. So this, I think it should be right, but it could go really wrong. Like, I think generally it will be right though. Those of you who want a bit more healing, this is a good time to go and get the extra Firekeeper soul down there. You could even do that, open the gate and then bone out so that you've got a bit more healing for when you fight the dudes. So we do a little circle, and she behaved well today, so that's good. Oh, that was sloppy. So you can run forward here, but you can't see the steps because of the fog gate, so you have to be a little bit careful there. We'll kick down the shortcut just in case, although we've got a lot of vitality. And then we'll quit out. Okay, so we grab our bow and we get our fire bombs. So we want to be around here, like, because we step forward with a throw, so we need to be a little bit careful. So we aim for Ingwood and we go straight up. We want to throw the bomb, and then after we hit him, we shoot him with an arrow. Now theoretically, hopefully, yeah, that echoes him. Cool, so he's going to get stuck in that corner. So now you angle up and we throw the ball. Now you've got to remember that you're going to step forward, so be a little bit careful here. Edge yourself back. Push up, so that's the maximum distance you can angle up. And I should be able to get a couple of throws. And that should hopefully be it. Cool. Now if you're super amazing, you'll do the jump there. And if you're like me, you'll go inside. I've died too many times on that jump. I think I probably hug the wall because I'm too scared, and then because I'm hugging the wall, I run into the wall instead of forward, which is obviously stupid. But that's good that that firebomb worked, alright. So here, I tend to. What am I doing? That was terrible. So this is where I tend to do. I was thinking about my ring. So this is where I tend to do my inventory manipulation while that thing's going around, but I've just completely screwed it up here. So run forward, and we don't need the very large ember, so we can just jump off. Go this way, go through. You need to drop in pretty quick because of the ghost behind you. Get your inventory ready. Hear the noise, and then we can equip. So we'll go full stones. That is stamina regen. Nah, we'll just go for the protection. That'll be fine. Good opening. Okay, so once again, we need to really think about the distancing here to make sure that we get the sweet spots. There is some stuff about counter hits with this, but like... Oh. Did that hit? So yeah, there's some stuff around counter hits and working out, like, not getting counter hits so that you can do free kings, blah blah blah, but I'm just, yeah. I think that might require knowing exactly your damage. So with those, make sure you're not running when you get hit. Cool, so it looks like we can get 3 R1s after the king. And I think we should be on track for 3 kings, hopefully. Man, not a single magic attack. Don't say it, Craig. Not a single magic attack or grab. This is where he totally grabs me, isn't it? Okay, and we're going full stamina. Oh, spot on! That was great. Cool, so at this point, if you wanted to swap out your ring, you could. You do not need the Abyss ring at this point. I should have done that at the end of the fight. So, let's aufstiegen. 2 points of damage just does not feel worth it, does it? So let's go for condition. And then we need to go to Anor Londo, because we've still got Gwendolyn and Priscilla to do. And then it's the DLC, which is not bad. Like, I reckon we've got to be on about 1 hour and 40, you know. This weapon's so good. Wait, have we done Priscilla? Oh no. We've done it. Nuts. I had no idea. Okay, so... Man, I had no idea. And I only knew because we got the souls. Okay, cool. So, damn, that means we're straight onto the DLC. Let's do this. DLC, we would go to Gemeinde der Untoten. Is that like undead? Oh, undead parish, right? Gemeinde is like location or district. We don't have enough. So I've had some, I was having a think about what runs to do next. And I kind of quite fancy doing something a bit different, like not necessarily a run orientated around a weapon. So one thing I was considering doing, which I thought could be quite interesting, is doing an all summons run. So doing every boss in the game and having to defeat, like doing all bosses, but having to defeat all bosses with their summons. Like, because I haven't done ONS with Solaire summoned for a really long time. I think that could be really, really fun. Yeah, so I was thinking maybe about doing that. I also thought about doing a magic run. So I've played with magic runs before, but my finding was that if you are not doing Red Tearstone Ring, because Red Tearstone Ring gives you like big buffs to magic, and like somehow it over buffs magic. I don't know how. But if you're not doing RTSR with magic, I just did not find it that good for most of the game. And like, you're effectively rushing to get Dark Bead, and if we're doing it glitchless, I don't think that's going to be that great. So I think I'm more likely to do like a beginner's guide to a magic run, like how to get started, the first 45 minutes of an absolute beginner's guide on magic. Because I think for beginners, magic works well because you can be quite far away from the boss. You don't have to worry about distancing too much. It's a little bit more forgiving in some ways. But magic is really expensive. But anyway, so yes, I was thinking about doing an all summons run. I thought that could be really fun. Like, I don't think I know most of the summons in the game probably. Yeah, so like you've got Solaire for loads, but there's definitely more. And it'll mean I'd have to do it in human form all the time, and humanity is a finite resource. So yeah, so that's kind of like one of my top picks for another run, I think, at the moment. Right, let's do this guy. I love this fight. So we can do this. I guess we probably still can't do this, can we? Let's leave that. That'll be right. We have the grass crest. We need nothing more. Oh, that second hit would have been nice, wouldn't it? So with those attacks, be careful of the electricity on the floor, because although it doesn't do a lot of damage, it will still stagger you afterwards. What I'm kind of looking for is this attack with the 4, and then I roll through the 4th and try to hit, but obviously I screwed that up because I got clipped. So those are kind of the only 2 openings I'm planning on taking. 1, 2, 3, 4. That, and then when he does the wind attack, running in after that. Yep, there's the stagger. Should be rolling that. Yeah, once I need to. Yeah, I need to get more on that roll. Cool. Like we definitely could have finished that earlier. Definitely could have finished that earlier, but it's not. We're not timing it. If I'd had a clock ticking next to me, that would have finished a lot sooner. That's right. Slow and steady wins some kind of scenario. Cool. This isn't bad. So we've only got. Jeez, we're making really good time. Artorias, Calamite, Manus, and then Gwyn. That's it. That is nuts. I can't believe how fast this has been. Ah. Yeah, Black Knight Halberd's really, really great. It's just so easy to use, and like I think the only like slight downside of it is the whiff. If you don't hit, and the fact that it has a sweet spot, but those things are so small in comparison to its insane power. I really wish there was a way to get the Black Knight Axe earlier in the game. That guy drops Twinkling if you still need upgrade material. Our stamina regen is insane with this mask and the grass crest, isn't it? Oh, so I was also thinking of doing a large club run. So while my friend was listening to him for a week, we did a large club. I think we did all bosses, yeah. Large club all bosses run, and it was really fun and quite easy. You get it really early on, which is great. We don't need to send that back up. There's no advantage to it. It's just habit. You do loads of damage. It's a super fun weapon. It's got a really, really cool moveset.
Wow.
With only 4,000 souls, I think probably the only thing we can buy is like free grasses, which isn't really going to do us any good. But we'll take them anyway. What have I got? Let's get rid of the Doppelmenschlichkeit, and we can leave those on. Okay, so I play Artorias really cautiously as well. Yeah, I only have a couple of openings I ever take with Artorias. Because, like, if he clips you, he can just do so much damage, and your run can just be over. So I've kind of trained myself. I think Soul Level 1 trained me to be really cautious. So I never normally would have gone for that. Oh, I'm getting greedy. This isn't good. I can feel the greed. I like to run him from the side because then he has to turn around before he can hit you, but our angle wasn't great there. We're gonna pay for that, yep. See? The greed. That was silly. Oh man, here we go. Yeah, I gotta stick to my openings. Oof, yep, shouldn't have gone for the double. So that is an opening. Or not. Wow, I thought that was. Okay. Well, I guess this means you get to see the run back to him. Never mind. Oh. We don't look anywhere near as nice now. I do wonder if, given our stamina regen is already amazing, we might want a little bit more defense. So these guys are dicks. This is getting us to the lift that we sent back up, the second lift which we wanted to send up, not the first one which I sent up pointlessly. Like, the run to Artorias, I think, the run back to Artorias is pretty straightforward. It's not too bad, so make sure you send this back up, otherwise you've got weight at the top, and those guys swamp you, and that sucks. Okay, no greed. It's talking about, like, being cautious and stuff, and thinking, oh, maybe I won't do that. Like... $1,500 of Dark Souls, still got a lot to learn. Cool, so that's one of the openings I like. Yeah, focused on the souls there, that was silly. So I think we probably really want to be doing these charged R2s if we can. Not charged R2s. That was good. I didn't know that. The timing on that roll is quite interesting, because if you do it too early, he tracks. It's just one of the great parts of this fight. Yeah. And the healing windows in this fight are nuts. Like, they're so difficult to determine. Cool. Yeah, she should have jumped in R2 that one, I think. Well, I think the R2 does a little jump for you on this, doesn't it? Cock. Oh, what was I doing? I thought, oh, man. Yeah, that's the jump in R2. Or potentially just a standard R2. Standard R2? Yeah, cool. Okay. If we'd had a third, I think we could have gone for the attack there. Sorry, that took a little bit longer. Whew. Okay, so I need to get some. I need to get a cup of tea before I finish this. So let's see where we are. 2 hours, that is nuts. Oh man. Awesome. Cool. Okay, so I'm just gonna make a cup of tea and then I'll come back and we'll just totally finish this off. See you in a sec.